that okay? No.
What about one on the stand, Kathy? Would that be easier?
Yeah, that'll be fine. Can y'all hear me okay? Whoop. Yeah. I'll just grab it. Okay, this is a case of great minds think alike, because I also brought a card deck. And, I'm going to start by saying that, that it is winter solstice. It is winter solstice. That's the longest, darkest night of the year, right? That was last night. So I actually have something called the Yule Oracle. It's from a series that's called Seasons of the Witch, and which I just really, really like. They've done one for for all 8 of the what we call the Wheel of the Year in the sort of the holidays, ritual days in the pagan tradition, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'll put my microphone down for a second while I shuffle and draw us a card for the Yule season. This is lovely, actually. And I want to say something about the cards, too. So I do read tarot cards. These are not tarot cards. These are actually oracle cards, which are a little different because all of them, instead, the tarot card is a system, but the oracle cards, when people develop an oracle card deck, they just do whatever they want as far as the deck goes. So they're a little bit more loosey-goosey, and they're all different, which is kind of cool. So the one that I pulled is actually offerings. Which is kind of lovely. I give to you my heart's intent, wrapped in gratitude and thankfulness, devotion in exchange for your presence. Here I am, gifting my essence. So that was really lovely. One other thing I wanted to say about cards, actually, is I come by my left. So I have, I'm embarrassed to say, hundreds of tarot and oracle decks that I've collected over the years, and cards are really special to me because my grandmother was a bit of a card shark. She loved her bridge. She hosted bridge parties all the time, but she also taught me and my brother poker and blackjack and gin rummy, and we even played Uno with her, if you're familiar with that. And so, there's something about just shuffling a deck of cards, that brings back my grandmother's spirit. And she's my grandmother on the Romanian side too. So, I kind of feel like there's a little bit of a history of witchiness, on my Transylvanian side there. Anyway, so I hope that was fun for you. So in addition to being the solstice, one of the things we haven't mentioned is that this particular Sunday has come to be called in recent years Blue Christmas. Has anybody heard of that before? You may have heard of the Elvis song, right? But it's come to be called Blue Christmas because a lot of people at the holiday season have a lot of depression, have grief. And so it was a way for congregations, right, to recognize that Christmas isn't a happy time for everybody. Some people, have seasonal depression, right? Seasonal affective disorder. And I actually went and I researched that because I was like, what causes that? Do we know? And we actually don't know what causes it. It's thought that the lack of light reaching, the retina means that your brain actually is producing less serotonin, okay? And so there's actually a physiological reason maybe why people tend to get depressed this time of year. The other thing is, of course, that for many of us, and I find this true for myself as I get older, we're thinking about people that aren't here with us anymore, and that makes the holidays hard. This is the second year that, my dad hasn't been around. And so that's hard. When we got together, actually last weekend, the family got together, in part because I wanted to come here. Usually we get together a little closer to the holidays, but I said, you know what, I've been asked to do this and I want to do it. So we got together last weekend, and, me and my stepmother, when we headed out, we went to Knoxville, we actually just held each other and cried because we missed my dad, He was an important part of our family and our celebration, and it was just hard for him not to be there. So that's a reason I think that people, can not find the holidays to be the happiest time of year. And I also think that, part of it is our expectations. What is it? Is it comparison is the thief of joy? I don't know. I can't remember who said that, but, sometimes we're comparing it to holidays past. I know, for us, when Aaron was a child, oh my goodness, that Christmas morning was so joyous, and we don't, it's not that kind of excitement and full of childish wonder anymore. And I also think people have this idea in their head of the way the holidays should be, right? The way the holidays should be. I should be having this kind of holiday. And of course, it's hard to make reality match up with, the kind of fantasies in our heads that are, promoted by commercialism and, right? So I think it is a hard time for a lot of people. And, this year has been hard for a lot of us, extra special, hard for a lot of us. I know personally I can say I've been out of work basically all year. I've had a couple little part-time jobs, but that make about 1/10 of what it costs to live, right? At a bare minimum level. So, but we've been surviving, of course, and I also recognize that a lot of people have it much worse than we do. We have some resources, we have family, we have friends, we have community, and so we're limping along, But a lot of people have fallen through the cracks, so that makes this time of year tough for a lot of people, and also for those of us who care about that, right? And I don't think I need to say anything about the state of our country and the world, but I will. But I will, because we need to keep speaking out about that, and the absolute avarice, meanness, viciousness, violence that is going on right now in the world. I mentioned something. My stepmother is just a really interesting, strong woman. She's definitely like a second mother to me. She's been my stepmom since I was 9. And, I was mentioning to her, I was like, gosh, this is just so awful. I mean, people are talking about and actually leaving the country, And she said, well, but it's going on everywhere, right? It's going on everywhere. We're seeing, a decrease in democracy, right? Threats to democracy. We're seeing xenophobia. We're seeing racism, sexism, a rise in authoritarianism. These are things that, make it hard to, that have yourself a merry little Christmas. That's kind of aspirational right now. It's really hard to, I'm sorry, does somebody need to turn something off or? Oh, okay. If you need to get that, So, it just makes it really, really hard to just enjoy the holiday, right? And just like a little thing, and there are little things that just I find are kind of oppressing me too. Like, I feel like I've never seen, and I don't want to be gross, but I've never seen so many dead deer on the road as I've seen this fall. And, they do tend to be out and about more this time of year. First of all, they've had their rutting season in the fall, but also, they're looking for food. But I can't help but think it's habitat loss, right? That it's habitat loss. And, so we have a flock of deer that, herd of deer that, that lives at least part-time in and around our property. And, so we've had generations of deer that have been born on the property. I've come to learn a little bit about them. They're matriarchal. Deer are matriarchal, white-tailed deer, at least, that live here in Georgia. So they're matriarchal. And they, so the herd will actually be led by an elder female. And often the members of the herd are her daughters and granddaughters, even great-granddaughters. And this female, she gets a lot of her power in the herd, and her, the other females will defer to her because of her knowledge, because she knows where the food is, because she knows where, there are likely to be predators and threats to the herd, and so the herd follows her. So, I'm thinking about this as they lose that territory. These females have lost the knowledge that protects and feeds the herd, because what they know about the environment is no longer true as they're losing their habitat, right? Anyway. So, and that's I guess it's a little thing, but it's also not a little thing, because our natural world is not a little thing. It is what sustains us, And when I think about all of these terrible, terrible things that are going on right now and how they're all kind of linked, they're linked together. Disrespect for people and disrespect for the natural environment, they're linked together, right? There's a special kind of meanness and sickness that doesn't care about that, right? And, so I can't remember exactly when it was. I was thinking about it. I know I did another ritual on a winter solstice for y'all where we were thinking of things we wanted to leave behind in the old year, in the old season, right? As we passed through the darkest night of the year and into a new cycle of life. What do we want to leave behind? So I was thinking about that and thinking, okay, I don't want to just leave stuff behind. Like, that's too passive. So what I would like to do for you now is I would like to do a banishing. Okay? I would like to do a banishing. And as I was thinking about different ways that pagans banish things, one of the ways is with bells. So I've got my jingle bells here, and we are going to banish things. We are going to banish things, right? I'm going to put this up here. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. All right. And if you've got bells, join along. So I'm going to name things I want to banish, and then we're going to say, you are banished. Okay? Greed. You are banished. Hatred. You are banished. Thoughtlessness. You are banished. Now your turn. You are banished. You are banished. You are banished. You are banished. Sexism, you are banished. You are banished. You are banished. You are banished. War. Say it. You are banished. You are banished. You are banished. You are banished. Let's do a couple more. You are banished. You are twice banished. Twice banished for ice. You are banished. You are banished. You are banished. Okay. You are banished. All right, so we don't say amen in the Druid tradition. We say awen. And awen is the spirit of creativity, okay? It's the spirit of creative thought, and we're going to say awen, okay? Because we are going to come up with ways to make this a reality. This banishment will come into being. We will manifest it, okay? Awen, awen, awen. Okay, and now here's one other thing I want to say. I know we're running long on time, but I want to say this. There are so many things that also give me hope. Some of the things that give me hope are sitting right in these chairs. Okay, just from the community that you bring to me and the action that you bring into the world. Okay, other things that bring me hope. There are so many really, really brilliant, just very, very smart people who are speaking out, who are deconstructing the oppression that's around us, that are talking about where it comes from and its history. And that, for me, that has been so supportive and also enlightening. So that's something that gives me hope. So what about you? What gives you hope? What gives you hope? Yeah. Yes. The next generation gives us hope. Yeah.
Acts of kindness.
Yes, I was thinking about that. And from strangers, from people you don't expect it, who are so kind. Even from people, who maybe aren't so kind in other parts of their life, but that unexpected kindness, it's still there. It's still there. That gives me hope. Yeah.
Fearless resistance.
Yes, resistance, fearless resistance. That gives me hope.
People who speak the truth.
Yes, people who speak the truth. Absolutely. That gives me hope.
Music.
Yes, the arts. Yeah, I didn't mention that. That's another thing that gives me a lot of hope, And also seeing how people are using their art to speak truth to power. Yeah. So I'm going to end with, let me see if I can find this little poem. And I actually set this to music for a service that Marty Keller did about Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. Yes, I will read it again. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. So may hope find you as we walk out of the dark season, and hopefully we can bring some light into this world. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.